Good afternoon, Toastmasters and guests. It's all good. It's all good. When I was about 8 years old, living in Germany, my mother enrolled me in Brownies, which was a younger group of Girl Scouts. Didn't want to go, didn't want to be there, didn't want to know the people that were there, but I went because Mom enrolled me. And I was bored out of my mind. I didn't really know what it was about other than young girls get together and they learn how to do crafts and they learn how to memorize and they learn how to get along. I could have cared less. I didn't want any part of it. It wasn't me. So I half-heartedly went to these meetings sporadically. And this was a meeting that was on Friday nights that we would have to get into a school bus and travel a distance to go to the club. I lived on a base in Germany, so we always had to travel elsewhere. And I remember one instance where dues were due, and I think it was like 50 cents at the time, I think. I didn't have any pockets, I didn't have a purse, so I put it in my mouth for safekeeping on this bus that's going to the club. And yeah, it happened. I swallowed the money before I got to the meeting, and my dues were due again. Even though I told the leader this is what happened, she probably didn't believe me. And I didn't really care because I didn't really want to be there anyway. But that really stands out in my mind as a little person how I thought putting money in my mouth would be a safe place. Wrong. Fast forward that to when I was a teenager, about 13, in California. My mother's wisdom enrolled me into Job's Daughters, which is a younger version of Eastern Stars, which is part of the Masonic order. I didn't want to be there. I didn't want to learn. I didn't want to rub elbows with these young ladies that were hopefuls for beauty queens in the future. It wasn't me. I didn't care. And they tried so tactfully to encourage me to go up the order to be eventually the queen of Job's Daughters. And I didn't really want to. And I think I made it 3 levels up, dragging my feet, missing meetings purposely, not memorizing because I was rebellious. It wasn't me and I wasn't going to do it. And I figured out later it was because of my mother. It was my mother's idea for the Brownies, for Job's Daughters, and I didn't care. So I stepped out of Job's Daughters after about 3 years. And organizations just was not my cup of tea throughout my entire life. I went to Business and Women's Professional Club, again, as a young adult. I didn't want to be there. I didn't want to learn it. I didn't want to rub elbows with all those young business women. It just wasn't me. It just wasn't. I wanted to change the world, mind you, but I didn't want to learn the organization of the world, because there is. So throughout my young adult life and moving on in my years, I kind of did my thing, and I learned things my way, by reading books, by talking to people, by doing. When I came across Toastmasters in the lobby of our town center one day, Janet Kerr was there as a spokesperson for Toastmasters. And I asked her, so what is it all about? And she said, oh, you know, we gather together as a group once a week here at FTV, and we learn how to become a speech maker. We learn how to talk in front of people, which is one of the scariest things in the world. And we learn how to overcome that and be more confident. And I thought, well, I'll try it, even though it's an organization, even though it's really not me. I'll try it because, you know, I think it'd be awesome if I could be an inspirational speaker. I think it would be great if I could be an awesome storyteller, because I had 2 little boys, you see. So I tried it. And oh my goodness gracious, it made just so much perfect sense to me. The steps that Toastmasters recommends, the end results that happens if you follow the steps, and the places you can go and the places you can be through Toastmasters. So, I guess, all of my life through these other organizations that I was fighting tooth and nail to get to, and I didn't want to because it just wasn't me, I was waiting for Toastmasters. And Toastmasters waited for me because I've been in Toastmasters for 7 years now, and I haven't learned much at all. Other than, if you work the program does work for you, but you have to put effort into it. You have to be prepared. The speech today, I had in the back pocket, just in case I ever had the occasion to give this speech, to get credit, to go forward to be another distinguished Toastmaster in the future. And I recommend all of you, whenever you have the opportunity, speak. Even if it may not be your best effort, even though you may not feel totally prepared, have it just in case, because you'll be amazed on how fast you can go through those manuals. You'll be amazed how much you learn, and you will be amazed that you can do these things, because that goes into confidence. So keep in mind, folks, it's all good. It truly is all good. Mr. Toastmaster.
What are you doing over there?
Doing swell. How are you?
Feeling good about your speech?
It was okay.
It was okay, wow. Well, I would beg to differ. I thought you have a natural sense to yourself. Up to here, so graceful, so perfect, you know, saying speech, you know, every speech you have this grand opening, coming through, doing my speech. It's so warm, it's so, anytime you give a speech, it's warm. And it's just, everybody just sort of gets drawn into you. I liked your opening. Good afternoon. It's great. You know, I loved your stories about brownies, loved ones, Masonic order. It's funny, I actually just went to a Mason meeting, Freemason meeting here recently. I was the youngest person in the building. I was probably the only person who didn't smoke. But no, great speech. You had a very smooth transition into Toastmasters. The speech was very specific. The speaker should present useful information on the subject of public speaking with references to Toastmasters. And I thought you did that. I thought it was very specific. I thought you did that. I thought you brought it up at the right, appropriate time. And I thought you had a very smooth transition into that topic. Here's where I thought you could have done a little differently. And of course, this is me. I'm a little more boisterous than a lot of the people in here. But how about some pauses in strategic locations? I thought there could have been a few pauses in your speech. And then maybe some obstreperous, or whatever that word is. You know, a little vocal variety in there maybe. Other than that, I can't get you for a whole lot. Because you're Grace. You're warm. I'm boisterous. Thank you. Great speech.